I am listening to my inner voice. I am listening to the voice of love. I am listening to my inner voice. I am listening to the voice of love. Feeling my heart, feeling my heartbeat. I am guided. Feeling my heartbeat. I am free. Feeling my heartbeat. I am guided. Feeling my heartbeat. I am free. One last time. I am listening to my inner voice. I am listening to the voice of love. Feeling my heart to my inner voice. I am listening to the voice of love. Feeling my heartbeat. I am guided. Feeling my heartbeat. I am free. Feeling my heartbeat. I am guided. Feeling my heartbeat. I am free. I am listening to my voice. I am listening to the voice of love.
Especially able to hear this is a song you've written and to hear your heart sing the song. Thank you so much. Good to have you back.
Be back.
You know, some people say we've got to quit meeting like this, but we got to keep meeting like this. So welcome here into this community, into this place of love and expression of the divine that we each find our own way. And welcome to those who are online and joining us today. We'd like to begin our services by saying our vision and mission statement. So if you look on your screen at home or on screen here and read with me, we are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission statement, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. So we are celebrating this mission and vision and living this life that is a spiritual living, a spiritual deeper connection in this. Before we begin our sacred part of our service, I want to just give you a few announcements we have. The first one is being on October 3rd. That's important that we have a concert coming up. Ryan and Janet are going to be singing here as well, and the flyer, if you receive one of those, in time you can get one on the way out. Right after our regular service, they'll be singing with us, and then afterwards. And we thought it would be easy because we may have a lot of people in for the concert, which is hard to anticipate. But because we wanted to do that, we're going to have the service and the concert outdoors. So we're going to move outdoors. We've got the stage set up already. And it should be a beautiful day. We'll have shade where needed, but we'll be outdoors. So bring your coffee, bring your, whatever you want to bring with you. And it'll be a fun day to be outside and enjoy this beautiful fall weather we're having lately. So it's great to have. The other thing I want to let you know about that is also something that's going to be outdoors is Saturday, October 23rd. We're having our donor appreciation and 50th anniversary dinner. We actually have a theme around this year around, because it's the 50th anniversary, we're going to be talking about the history of the center. And as I was talking with Mary and a few other people the other day, I realized what this is really a love story. our history is a love story. So the theme of it is living a love story. And it will be celebrating this 50 years we've had together as a community, of which only 7 of them have been with me. So we've had other ministers and other practitioners and other community members, different locations. So we'll talk about all that. And also just celebrate these 50 years, as well as honor you for your involvement in this community and your willingness to express the divine in that way. So and any outdoors, so we can be at a, follow basic guidelines during these times. Which is great. It's been remade a little bit, reestablished, but very portable. So what we do is this little piece called, it's in 4 languages, May Peace Prevail on Earth. And it's portable, very easy to pick up. And what we invite you to do is take it home with you. And what we do, this is a fundraiser. And so your donation allows you to be able to take it home, put it in your yard, and just spread the message of peace. Peace has been part of our core beliefs and our core community action that we've done since we started in the 70s, 50 years ago, with marches and peace tables and drumming and interfaith commemorations and the peace poll that we've done. So we're excited about that. And there's online, you can find a way to be able to sign up for that. That's under the events. You'll see that, and you'll see the Peace Poll Project. Look for that online. And there's a form to fill out if you're interested in having they come home with you, and we'll have you get it to your house, but it's pretty easy to get home. So either way, I know some of us in here. How many people have had the Peace Poll at your home already? So we've had a number of people in here. It's kind of fun. I've had it too. And this would be just great to be a part of that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the practitioner class. We delayed the start of it, so there's still room for that. Also called the Inner Journey. You don't have to be going on to practitioner. And there's only a minimum of basic classes. You have to have taken at least 1 foundation class. And if you need more classes, we'll help you get those along if you want to be a practitioner. But if you just want to take this, and it's a year-long course, but it's 3 sections of 8 weeks. And there's breaks between the weeks. So it's almost like signing up for 3 classes at once. And it's just called the Inner Journey, where you go deeper into your consciousness and deeper into your knowing. So that starts not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. That would be October 5th. And then we have many ongoing activities, meditation on Wednesday, English at 6:30 here in person, in Spanish, that Imelda leads over there. She can give you information about it, or Mary, be glad to give you information about it. Right now it's on Zoom, right? It's on Zoom. And then we have Course in Miracles that Michael does on Tuesday night. If you want to know information about that, you can talk to Michael about that. And then we also have on Sunday evenings a Dharma recovery group that's based on Buddhist principles that starts at 7 p.m. But this is with Amy Ridley. She's also starting a study group on Wednesday nights with a book by T.J. Woodward, which is about conscious recovery and this whole concept that the recovery group is on. And they're going through the book, and that starts at 5 p.m. And if you want to stay for the meditation, you can. Is there something to add?
Yeah, I'd like to add to that because the Course in Miracles book we're using is actually the one that Helen wrote, not what everybody's used to seeing. So we're using the Pearl edition. So this is before Ken Wachnick got involved and edited it. Like the first 13 chapters are totally different.
Okay. And nobody can hear you right now online. So, because you don't have a microphone, so I'll just repeat that.
Okay.
So this is the text used for Course in Miracles is the original manuscript that they use. So if you're interested in that, you can see Michael. Thanks, Michael. And then also you can always see our services on YouTube. If you miss one, you can go back and see them. There's forms for prayer requests, or you can fill out the forms in the lobby. And there's multiple ways of donations. If you're interested in supporting us, there's online giving, there's texting now we do, and there's checks payable or cash, of course, given to the Center for Spiritual Living. And finally, this is getting to be that season. Really, the last few years has been Amazon season, but it's especially true now with the holidays coming up in the fall. We have Smile Amazon, and if you sign up for that with Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living, we get a small percentage of your purchases, but it adds up. We get about $1,000 a year from people who signed up for Smile Amazon. It would be great to increase that sum. If you've not signed up for that, there's information about that online. So enough announcements. Let's get back to this time of music and contemplation in this sacred time.
Are you kidding me?
Nice to meet you. Seems like we're always on the stage or in front together. I love that. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are you today? Nice to see you all. I feel like I haven't been up here for a while. My name is Vanessa Kunitz, and I'm a practitioner here at Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. And so I'm going to lead us in prayer, a moment of silence, and a little personal insight talk. Yes? So it's in this moment that I just stop. I stop and realize the one life expressing, the one mind, the one that is present in, through, and as all things. It's present in all situations, whether realized or not. It's expressing itself as love, as beauty, as harmony, ease, grace, joy, abundance, flow. All that is good. And what I know is that this power, this presence, this beauty that is life is expressing itself in, through, and as me right now. And I know that what is true for me is true for you. It's true for everyone, everywhere, whether they know it or not. There is no separation. There never was. There never will be, despite any appearances to the contrary. So it's in this knowing that I speak my word, just realizing and affirming that I am whole, perfect, and complete. And what is true for me, like I said, is true for everyone. So I could just call our time together blessed, perfect, just naturally unflowing. I speak a word right now for Reverend Jay and for his message today. An amazing production team in the back doing their thing. And for each one of you being present here today, the service would not be the same without you. So I just wrap us each and all in love and harmony, and for those online as well. Thank you for being here. Let us give thanks. I give thanks for this time to come together like this. For me, it's a luxury that I'm grateful for. And so I just release these words today. I let them go and let them be. And so it is. I invite you to be in the silence for a moment. Thank you. So I invite you to bring your attention back to this space and this time. It really is a luxury to be with you all. Not everybody could just gather these days, right, with like-minded people. So today's topic is solely for the soul. And so me living in the East Bay, I get time to think about what I'm going to talk about on my drive. And I was like, what do I do that's solely for my soul? And there are a variety of things. There are times I go for a walk, right? Sometimes I just know I need to move my body. I'm stiff. It's like, girl, get moving. You've been sitting too long, right? But there are other times I go for a walk solely for my soul, which is often like if I go to the Redwoods, or even if it's just for a walk around my neighborhood. Sometimes the sole purpose is solely for my soul. My soul wants to be in nature. My soul wants to be surrounded by divine creation, not just the four walls that I do try to beautify for my soul, but out in nature, right? The last couple of weeks, I did do something in my internal environment at home solely for my soul. So I have a 4-bedroom townhouse that used to be filled to the rim with 2 children in every room, but all those children are grown up now, so it's just me. So I have my West Wing, I call it. There's 2 bedrooms on this side and 2 on this side. So I have my master suite, as I call it, Unit A. No. And then I have my home office, which I beautified for my soul. There are people who just have a desk in a room. I purposely decorated in a way that when I open that door and I'm doing work in there, I decorated that solely for my soul, right? And then there's 2 empty rooms on this side. One still has my son's stuff who went off to the Marines. Need a storage shed. But I did the best I could with that space. But then there was this other room that was a catch-all. And it didn't feel good to my soul to have the door open or to have it closed because the sun comes in from that way in the morning. And solely for my soul, I want to see that sunshine. When I open my bedroom door, that sun hits me first thing in the morning, right? And so recently, I just totally redecorated that room. I've been wanting a Zen room since before the kids moved out. I'm like, oh, when they're gone, this is what I'm gonna do with that space and that space. And so I got the opportunity to finally make that a reality for my soul. I went to Ross and everything. You know how you might have an idea, but sometimes you go to a place and it inspires you with ideas? That's what happened. Everything was just there to make that room complete in one shopping trip. I was proud of myself. But it worked out, it manifested, and so it also made me realize or was a reminder that some of the things we set intentions for take some time to show up. Some you can manifest like that. Some may be a week, and some may take some more time. But now solely for my soul, I gave myself a treat. It's like there's a lot living in here, right? My higher self, my inner child, my soul self. And all those things need tending to. So solely for my soul, I pay attention to what's on my mind. I pay attention to what my eyes are seeing. And I pay attention to how I could let in more light. This is my soul that is continuing to expand during this trip, right? So I want to give it the best that I can. Solely for my soul. Thank you.
That's inspiring.
Thanks, Bodhi.
And solely to my soul, I write songs.
There it goes.
I get an idea and I go, I gotta remember that idea. So I live it and embody it. So then I put it in a song and then it becomes part of myself. So I feel like reaching higher means reaching deeper inward at the same time. Because that's where the strength comes from. Keep your arms up. You know, like I didn't try to keep my arms up for a long time. Working up, cutting branches out of trees, and it's just like, oh my God. I'm reaching higher, but man, it's great. So, stillness is the place where I go. Open up my heart. Open up my mind. Open up my pocket. From time to time. Ask a lot of questions. Read so many books. Going within is the best place to look. Softly, stillness speaks. Softly, stillness teaches me. Running on the beach, walking down the road, breathing deep to ease the load. I've tried most everything, get back in the flow. Best thing is to stop, let go. Softly, stillness speaks. Softly, stillness teaches me. Softly, stillness speaks. Softly, stillness teaches me. Ooh. Ooh.
Bodhi. It was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful there. I love just the ambiance you bring into the room, the consciousness. So thank you so much. So we're diving into this last week that when I'm talking about reaching higher, we'll just talk about reaching higher of the trees, and we always know that's a metaphor for the way we reach into spirit, that is both deepening and opening in this way. This is, I've also been talking about the movie Soul, which has been really fun, and opening up to that in this way. So I think the magic of the soul is this part of us that is this divine, as I called it last week, spark or aspect of ourselves. But it's not separate, it is part of all of who we are. So when we're talking about being solely for the soul, that's something that I am going to have to recommit to every day or moments in the day, because I can get caught up in life and the busyness of it, and just to dive into and remembering my intention around being here for spirit and serving spirit and opening up to the little miracles, the little things in life that add to the magic and the joy and the happiness and the aliveness I feel within me. I often think of our inner soul as being, I've been fascinated by the mitochondria in the cell. I don't know if you know about mitochondria. You go back to high school biology, you heard something about that. But the mitochondria in the cell is the energy part of our cells, and it takes oxygen and it burns the glucose it gets and turns it into fuel for our body, into what's called ATP. And in that way, our soul is a fire within us, is this spark that burns what comes in from spirit, but spirit is not, is ethereal, as energy, as consciousness, so it takes it into this place and it fuels our body in that way. It burns it and it creates energy for us. It almost translates spirit for us. And I always know when I am connected with my soul, because the language of the soul is love, it's joy, it's gratitude, it's just an aliveness within me that I'm paying attention to. It's a joy, a spontaneity. I know I'm not thinking about something that happened yesterday or something that's going to happen tomorrow. Even though both of those things are needed at times, the soul is present right here, right where I am. And to accept and to be present with what is that there are times to be. Now, at different times in my life, I've been very disconnected from my soul. I went through a workshop one time after a period of just really struggling in my life with a Native American shaman. And she took the group, this workshop that I was in a soul retrieval. And we went into this meditation in the underworld and refound that deeper connection with my soul. And it was powerful to do. But most of the time, it's just on a daily thing where I just need to remember and recognize this life. And I love movies like Soul. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to talk more about it today, but don't worry about that, because I tell you, you can see it even after I talk about it and find the beauty of it. Because in the way they portray Joe's journey to the soul is cute, it's funny, and it's beautiful. And any words I have wouldn't spoil that in any way. I know some of you might hesitate to watch an animated movie, but actually it gives more ability to use our imagination in that way. And it's interesting about Joe Gardner, the main character in this movie, that he accidentally dies, and he says, the first thing he says when he's heading to the great beyond is, I haven't even started to live yet. My life was just starting when it ended. because he was so focused on becoming a professional jazz musician. He finally got his big break to be part of a band and play professionally, and he dies. So my life, and I find that fascinating about him because he was so focused on something out there that he wasn't living presently, but he was living, guaranteed, but he wasn't aware of the little things in his life. The little ways that he was alive in that way. And even after he came back to his life, where he was back to being this professional jazz musician, the moment after that, when that gig was over, he thought he'd be happier. And even on the ride home on the subway, it felt the same way. Nothing had shifted in his life. And he began to realize, awakening to the fact that it wasn't the big thing, but the little things in his life that were what life was, what his soul was. So I have a little clip here from the movie. You can watch it here and also online. So he was so mindless that he fell into this ditch. And it was just being aware of the little things, of being able to talk to this girl named Connie and listening to her and really recognizing that he was a big help. Even the band he played for, this guy Curly, he had had a huge influence on where he got this gig. And so he found that he was really, if he was in a place of service, he was more open to conversations with his barber, with just being present with life in the little things that you are, being aware of the miracles of life. Just walking down the road and experiencing joy in such simple ways and being spontaneous. Just living life fully, not worrying about what other people think about you. And even when he was playing, he was more present then because he was aware of the soul and just being present with the little things and the big things. So I really recommend this movie. And for me, it just reminded me about how important the little things are. And if we're going too fast in life, we're too focused on things that we have planned to get done, we're going to miss those little things. I love what John Kabat-Zinn, the Buddhist teacher, said. The little things, the little moments, they aren't little. And that's what I have found too. It's the it's in life that are the little things that are the spark, the gratitude, and the joy. Maya Angelou, the poet, said, "This is a wonderful day. I've never seen this one before." That's why I'd like to remember to start my day like that. I don't always, but just this is a wonderful day. I've never been here before. There's going to be some unique things happening today. Some awe is going to happen. And I always tell myself that if I'm too busy to not have awe, at least once in a day, then I'm too busy. To allow ourselves the little things that come down. I'll tell you the things that spark the soul don't often come with flashing neon lights and loud sirens. Instead, they're quiet, they're subtle. And they need for us to be slower in order to experience it. For me, this community is one of my its that brings me joy. And yet it's not the same. I mean, since COVID happened, this community has evolved and changed and shifted. Some people have chosen not to come back yet because they're not ready to. And some people are new that are coming. And some people are only online. And so it may be different, but why would I put an expectation that it would be the same? Because life is always changing. Every day is shifting. So the joy that I experience comes from what is, not what I think it should be, or what I think it will be. It's right here and right now. And if we're solely here for God, for our soul, then we're present with what is right now. I go back to the words of Meister Eckhart that I quoted last week, and I think it's kind of my overall quotation in life that I live by. And first of all, you have to put in context who Meister Eckhart was. He was a Christian mystic in the 13th and 14th century, and he was at a time when there was no progressive Christianity. There was no such thing. Everything was about sin and heaven and hell. And yet he had these experiences in his inner life of a God that was loving and comforting. And there was no other experience he had when he was in his inner. So he discounted a lot of the words people said, and it got him in trouble. He was considered a heretic. But his quote is, any talk of God that is not comforting is a lie. Any talk of God that is not comforting is a lie. So basically, I mean, you can see why he was in trouble. He was basically calling the church priest and pope and everybody liars because they were interpreting the Bible in a different way. And this, what I know is my experience of myself. And I think that's the problem with the way the creation story was written and the way it was interpreted in Genesis, is that because, according to the story, Adam and Eve ate of the tree of knowledge, and the interpretation was that was the original sin, and we can never measure up after that. We're always sinners, according to some theology by Christians. But that's simply not true. That to eat of the tree of knowledge was an original blessing. And we are constantly within ourselves considering our worthiness. And certainly Joe in the movie always felt he wasn't worthy. He was trying to measure up to something of his own expectations, of his mother's expectations, of society's expectations, and he felt like he was never measuring up, which made him think he wasn't living yet. And yet, even when he was able to play with this amazing jazz band, he still didn't feel like he was measuring up. And that's because he was living outside of himself, and we need to find that which was within us to recognize our own worthiness, which is the soul is always expressing worthiness. Always. It is our own interpretations or somebody else's interpretations that has nothing to do with our soul, judgments of other people that is not true. And we recognize that which is our most profound truth within us is one of worthiness, one of a blessing. Now, some things we might experience in life might be seem like a curse. But what we know about spirit is there is nothing outside of us that is cursing us. And if you go back to the Hebrew text of what a curse means, it just means a separation. A separation from spirit, from not knowing, a removal of our connection with spirit. So when we think something is not the way we want it to be, or we experience pain or discomfort because of something, if we just come back to that which is within us, back to our soul, we can experience this greater truth within us, this greater comfort, this greater joy. So this morning I have 3 questions for you. First of all, how do we show up and measure up? How do we be in harmony? And how do we continue to be in gratitude and awe? The first, how do we show up? I'm saying we are worthy. We measure up if we're willing to live in the present. How do we experience that? Melody Beatty, who's in the recovery movement, she's written a lot of affirmation books and things like that, and a number of texts. She said, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. So this idea that we feel lack or we feel unworthy, if we're in gratitude and awe, we experience ourselves and what we have as enough. I have this interesting ability to, and I think most people have this, but when somebody's talking to me and I don't hear them either, I'm not paying attention, or maybe I'm in another room, I can replay things in my brain. I just have an automatic recorder. And so Michelle might say something in the other room, and I say, my first thing is, what? And then I respond to the question that she told me. And she goes, why did you say what when you heard me? And because I heard it the second time. That's what I said. So this is a blessing and a curse in some ways, because our brain that can replay things also replays experiences we've had, conversations we've had that have been painful or uncomfortable, and we re-wound ourselves, we hurt ourselds in that way because of an obsessive thinking. Now, some of that is natural. Part of that is the idea of the curse idea, that we are separated from spirit. We're removing ourselves from spirit. So it's a way of bringing spirit back into this. But sometimes we stay in that separate thing when we're replaying things, and we're in regret instead of allowing spirit to come in us and allowing our soul to seek this forgiveness or this reconciliation, which is the natural place of our soul to be. Not to be separate, it's natural to be connected. So when we feel disconnected, we come back to our soul, back to spirit. Spirit is, remember that our soul is burning this message from spirit into a way that we understand it, the way we can use it, the energy in our body. So this forgiveness. And it's interesting, Jesus in the traditional Lord's Prayer, as we know it today, when he talked to his disciples about how to pray, he talked about forgiveness. But the interpretation of the way he used forgiveness is to untie the knots in our body. He wasn't asking Spirit something outside of himself to forgive him, because he believed the kingdom of God was within. So he was just saying, Spirit, help me untie these knots in my body, the stuff, as well as the knots I hold other people in, letting it go, freeing it up, freeing my thoughts and these things I hold on to people. I want to be free of that. And so it is our soul that allows us to reconnect, to forgive, to reconcile, to have empathy. And maybe we may never understand. There's many things I don't understand, but that why question, we're just going to let that go and allow Spirit to be that which is understanding, that which is creating within us. What if what is in the way of our happiness, what if that is the way? What if we allow that energy that we hold on to, allow it to transform, allow our soul to burn it and create through it, create an energy for us. Or at least to let the energy we're holding on to, let it go. And to be present absolutely with everything that is right here. Where we find a healing, we find a deeper connection with that. So the second question I have for you is, how can we be in harmony in our lives, especially when there seems to be chaos and separation and judgment around us? There's a geneticist, her name is May Wan Ho, and she compared biology of life to an improvisational jazz ensemble. I thought this was good considering the movie Soul was about jazz and everything. So I wanted to bring that in, her idea about, so if you know anything about improvisation, it seems random. When a trumpet player or a saxophone player or a singer gets up and does this improvisation, but it's really connected with the band in harmony with what the band is doing at the time. It's not random at all, even though it is a spontaneous improvisation, a spontaneous playing. So the geneticist Mei-Wan Ho said life is like that particularly at the quantum level. She called it quantum jazz. That there seems to be this chaos going in, but there's an incredible, according to her, an incredible high of activity at every level of magnification in the organism, locally appearing as though completely chaotic and yet perfectly coordinated as a whole. This is what we know about life itself, that it seems to have a chaos around it, but in truth, there is a harmony and a wholeness if we allow that to be. Think of the planets in their sphere that come around. There's occasional comets that come through or meteors, but they're part of the whole system as well. Sometimes people give the phrase, everything happens for a reason. I kind of resist that phrase sometimes because it just seems like a cliche. It seems too automatic for me. When sometimes we don't know the reason, and sometimes we obsess about the whys, that we can be lost in that. But what I do know for certain, that Spirit is in everything that happens. And while we may have trouble with everything happens for a reason, we know there's reason in everything that happens. And the reason is a divine order, a divine good, a divine action that we can tap into. So whatever we experience, we know the divine is in there. And we can allow our soul to recognize what that is, to hear it, to hear the gratitude and the awe and the joy in that moment, even if it seems chaotic, even if it seems uncomfortable. There is God, there is something greater happening in there. We can just allow it and trust it that the cosmos is working in this way and opening up. That we find and allow this truth. Remember that the curse is just removing the influence of Spirit, removing our connection to Spirit. So when we seem out of whack, or there's a pain or discomfort around something, we just bring Spirit back into this experience and allow that to be. And we have many, some situations there's no solutions to. Sometimes we just need to allow Spirit to be there with us, to allow our soul to be present with us in what is. So finally, how do we continue to be in this gratitude and awe? And for me, it's being just, there are certain reminders in my life of being in this gratitude and awe that I use as a touchstone. Ernest Holmes, Joel Goldsmith, Emma Curtis Hopkins, these are people that I read to bring back in there. Ernest Holmes, I know there's a power for good, which is responding to me and bringing into my experience everything that is necessary to my unfoldment. Everything that's necessary to my unfoldment. I'm going to trust that it's happening. I love about Joe Gardner in that after he experienced this time, which he came back into life, he played the jazz song, with his ensemble, and he still wasn't happy. He said, what's going on? And I'll tell you, this curiosity sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, opens up my life. Like, I don't know, I love what Gabrielle Bernstein said, God, what you got? I don't know, what you got here. And so for Joe, he opened up this curiosity, and when he rode the subway home, it still seemed to be the same old experience. He got back to his apartment, the same old apartment, kind of dark. And he sat down at his piano, and he pulled out of his pocket, because if you remember the story is this young soul, 22, came into his body for a while, incarnated and lived him, and it was this new perspective that helped him. But in his pocket, there were certain things that were in there, which included a pizza slice that Joe had given her to calm her down, a bagel she'd given to a street musician, a lollipop that Des, the hair cutter, gave her before they had this heart-to-heart conversation, a spool of blue thread from Joe's mom after really seeing each other for the first time, a ticket from the subway, and a maple seed that fell into her palm. So all of these things, he sat down and he put them on his piano and he began to write a song, playing a song, their memory, and they were touchstones. So I'm letting you know that I brought some of my touchstones with me today. And it's like an altar, but it's not like an altar like I sit down there and kneel like I'm worshiping something. They're reminders to me on a table I have in my study of certain things that are important to me. And it changes because those touchstones change. For example, I have this little stone that says inner peace on it. This was from last January when we did a white stone ceremony. And this is my intention for this year's inner peace. So this is a touch, literally a stone that's a touchstone that I keep there. A heart that is actually part of a moose antler inlaid with stone, but it's a heart to remember to open up to love. This is my particular favorite. I got this, and sometimes it's just gifts from people that reminds me of love. I got this from Kirk Reed at a gift exchange at a board thing when he was on the board. And it's what he used as a pediatrician. You know, he was Dr. Reed for a long time here before he retired. And he would use it to distract the child while he was treating them and kind of gave them something fun to look at while he dealt with serious things. So to me, it's just joy, you know? And it's already starting to wear off a little bit here, but it reminds me to remember the joy. And there's a little labyrinth here that I used. I trace it. That was a gift to me here. This feather, Aaron made this for me, or didn't make it for me, but I picked it up, and it's just a beautiful reminder of spirit as well as the air and the breath. And different things that are beads and different things that I've received or part of a workshop where I had a certain learning, but they're touchstones. I encourage you to have touchstones. Sometimes I'll keep a stone in my pocket. I know women keep stuff in their purse sometimes as a touchstone. It's just a reminder of joy and love, because I think we need those tangible things in our lives. Sometimes it's a plant we might have outside or a certain thing we have, but just reminders, and collect those things as well that anchor in this joy. And this is the way we can continue this on, to remind you that if we're too busy to feel awe every day, each day, then we're too busy. Let us go to prayer. This I know, the Spirit is present with us right here, right here in this room and in our hearts, in our lives, and the lives of those whom we love. And those whom we're challenged with as well. We know Spirit is present. And we know that is all there is in this world. We just allow this truth to be the way we live, knowing that in every situation, every person, there is Spirit. And our soul is within us that allows Spirit to come into us and gives us the energy and the awareness and the mindfulness to create and to be and to open up to a greater experience in our lives. And for this, we're so, so grateful for in this moment and all moments. And so it is.
Follow your heart, it'll take you where you want to go. Follow your heart, anywhere you roam. Follow your heart, that's the way to really know. Follow your heart, it'll take you home. Follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart back home. Follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart. It'll take you where you want to go. Follow your heart. Anywhere you roam, follow your heart. That's the way to really know. Follow your heart. It'll take you home. Follow your heart. Follow your heart. Follow your heart. Follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart, back home, back home, back home.
Thank you so much, Bodhi. Following your heart back home. This is a time in our service when you are invited to participate in the law of circulation, as well as supporting our vision and mission. You'll see a basket up here, and there's also other ways. If you're online, you can participate PayPal, through Breeze, through texting, different ways you can donate. But we just appreciate your support for all that we're doing and all that we're being as part of the community. So thank you so much. So you're welcome to bring gifts as a step towards in this law of circulation, either to the basket in front or the one in the back. We appreciate your support.
God is the source of who I am. God is the dream, what I do. And if it's God I'm talking to, I give myself to you, God. God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm talking to, I give myself to be used by you. Give myself to be used by you.
Thanks so much. And we have the affirmation for our, you want to turn on the screen there, Sean?
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. So the affirmation for that which is given, we simply acknowledge, and that includes online giving too. Divine love as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. We also want to recognize you if you've been here for the first time, either online. We welcome for you and anybody who might be here with us for the first time. If you're willing to raise your hand to be acknowledged. Yeah, looks like we're all been here before, so we also bless you right where you happen to be online watching us for the first time. Please check out our website and come back and see us. We are a conscious community here for all people. So we do have a blessing that we do for everybody here and all those online. We just raise our hands and we say,
we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community.
And so it is. We also bless our children wherever they are, the ones that are here, the ones that are near, and the ones that are far away, by simply saying,
we love you, we care about you, and we're here for you.
And finally, if you want to stand and repeat after me the community affirmation. Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I'm led by Spirit.
I'm led by Spirit.
I'm guided by wisdom.
I'm guided by wisdom.
I am protected by love.
I'm protected by love.
I'm here to be a blessing.
I'm here to be a blessing.
I am so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
And so it is.
I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. And I know the joy of peace. I choose spirit peace. Every moment, love wakes up. Peace is every step. Yes, peace is every step. Peace is every step.
So as we go forward, we allow peace to be every step we take. And so it is. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy